Another Friday. How do they come round so fast? I have to say I'm really glad it's Friday. I look as tired as I feel. I think I've been burning the candle a little bit too brightly. I'm looking forward to taking it a little bit slower this weekend, as slow as you can with dogs and kids and house, etc. So the big subject, digital IDs. This rumbling little nag that we've had in the back of our heads for quite a few years, and whispers about, particularly around COVID time, and before then even with Tony lovely Blair. Remind me again. I have an inordinate amount of documentations that I can use to prove who I am, whether it's a passport or a driving licence, national insurance number, NHS number, voting records, I don't know, blah-de-blah-de-blah, long list of things that I could use to prove my identification. And if someone doesn't have a passport, a driving licence, banking details, national insurance card, one of these blooming long list of things, then I think questions need to be asked about that individual, who they are and what are they doing in this country. Me having a digital ID is not going to make any difference to thousands of young men from overseas crossing our borders illegally, often with no documentation, or if they do, often you see them throwing it into the sea, as per their TikTok videos. So, upon arrival, what digital ID are you going to give them? You're just going to make them up? So, what use is that? And if you're talking about these digital IDs will help people to stop working on the black market, how so? Because people who employ, say, illegal migrants already know they're illegal, and they do so happily, and they know how to bend the system. And digital IDs will be a gravy train of Bisto proportions for hackers. And they will love the fact that everything will be in one place for them to corrupt and download and use to their will. So digital ID will put people at risk, much higher risk of online fraud. It won't make a jot of a difference to men coming by boats every day, and it won't make any difference to black market working. We all know this is not really anything to do with stopping illegal migrants, and it's everything to do with controlling the likes of me and you. And I think many other prime ministers I felt have been harangued and cajoled to go down the routes they probably didn't want to, but they were forced to, via the powers that be in the shadows. You all know who we're talking about. But I do think actually this time with Starmer, he's fully behind all of this, as we know. Full-on communist. Fabian worked as a communist. Was he a communist spy in Czechoslovakia in his 20s? Something like that. Heavily into the CCP. You know, we're looking at digital IDs at a time that we're going to have a Chinese global hub in our capital city, which Starmer's pushed through against the very strong wishes against it by our intelligence services. But no, our Prime Minister and government are ignoring our intelligence services. I think that alone deserves a lot of questions and alarm bells. So we have no need for digital ID. It could very much put us at greater risk of online fraud. And it's being pushed by people who we know, many of us know, don't have our best interests at heart. And just going back, I lost my point because I'm tired and rambling. But like I said, we've had 5 MPs in the last 8 years, I think. And it's for this very reason that I think you get an MP who says what they want to do, but then the powers that be in the shadows drag them into the shadows and say, yeah, you're not going to do that, and in fact you're going to do this instead. And people start saying, why are they going against normal Conservative policies? Why are they suddenly going against normal Labour policies? Why are we having this high turnover of PMs, and hopefully Starmer will be the 6th in 8 years before long? And I think it is because, although I think Starmer is more protected than most because of what I've just said, where I think he actually is very pro the agendas that are happening. And we're seeing this high turnover because our MPs, PMs, are not allowed to be who they truly want to be. They're not allowed to be a real true Tory leader, true Labour leader. They're not allowed to push through the policies they promised in the elections because the little strings are being put, again, this is bird seed, not dog food, dog pee. They're not allowed, they're being pulled by those strings in the shadows. And it's blatant for all to see, for me to see anyway, that people aren't able to be who they truly want to be. They aren't able to push forward with the policies they'd quite like to put forward, the ones that they promised in their manifestos, because they're not really the ones in power. So what do? Where do we go from here? All our hope is in reform at the minute, but the power is all in our hands, really, isn't it, as the little people? If we all say no, if we all say politely go elsewhere, Starmer, with your digital ID, hopefully this nonsense that the country can't afford to implicate anyway, implement, not implicate, will go the same way the ridiculous COVID passport nonsense did and die a quick death. The whole thing's an abomination. This is the country of the Magna Carta, and we need to remember that and say no.